Hello and welcome back to the Grow with Keeley podcast, a podcast that helps people navigate life's challenges, build confidence, improve well-being, and a reminder that growth doesn't have to happen alone. Today's episode is called Family Doesn't Mean Full Access. Now, before we begin, I just want to be super clear that this episode is not about encouraging people to cut off their family. It's not about holding grudges or creating conflict. It's about understanding that being related to someone does not automatically give them unlimited access to your time, your energy, your personal information, your emotions, or your life. For many of us, family can be our greatest source of love, support, and encouragement. But for others, family can also be the source of stress, guilt, anxiety, criticism, manipulation, or emotional exhaustion. And sometimes the hardest lesson we learn is that sharing DNA with someone doesn't automatically make a relationship healthy. Today we're going to talk about boundaries, self-respect, and why protecting your peace is not something you need to apologize for. Many of us grew up hearing things like, family comes first, blood is thicker than water. That's just how they are. You only get one family. And while these phrases often come from a place of good intention, they can sometimes teach us something unhealthy. They can teach us that we should tolerate behaviour from family members that we would never accept from anyone else. Imagine if a friend constantly criticised you, ignored your boundaries, spread your personal information, or only contacted you when they wanted something. Most of us would actually recognise that as unhealthy, yet when a family member does it, we're often told to put up with it because they're family. The truth is that healthy relationships are built on respect, trust, kindness, and accountability. Not genetics, not obligation, not guilt. Respect should not only be optional simply because someone is related to you. One of the biggest misconceptions around family is the idea that family members somehow own a piece of us. That they are entitled to know everything, entitled to our time, entitled to our decisions, entitled to our children, entitled to our personal lives, and even entitled to our forgiveness. But the reality is, you are a whole person, not a possession, not a project, not a source of endless emotional labour. And just because you're someone's daughter, son, sister, brother, niece or nephew, parent or grandchild does not remove your right to privacy or choice. Nobody is entitled to access simply because of their title. Access should be built on trust and maintained through respect. Now this part can feel uncomfortable because many of us want to believe that all family relationships are automatically safe. Unfortunately, that's not always true. Some people repeatedly ignore boundaries, gossip about private information, manipulate through guilt, create drama, criticize constantly, dismiss feelings, use emotional blackmail, and refuse accountability, and yet still expect unrestricted access to your life. The difficult truth is that relationships require maintenance. If someone repeatedly damages trust but expects unlimited access, they're asking for a privilege they haven't earned. Protecting yourself from unhealthy behaviour isn't cruel, it's responsible. Because every time you allow harmful behaviour without boundaries, you're teaching yourself that your well-being matters less than someone else's comfort, and that simply isn't true. A lot of people confuse boundaries with punishment, and they're not the same thing. Punishment says, I'm doing this to hurt you. A boundary says, I'm doing this to protect me. There's a huge difference. A boundary might look like not answering calls immediately, keeping certain topics private, limiting visits, saying no without explaining yourself, choosing not to engage in arguments, and reducing contact when interaction becomes harmful. Boundaries are not about controlling other people. They're about deciding what you will and won't accept. And sometimes people become upset when we set boundaries because they benefited from us having none. So now let's talk about the guilt, because guilt is often what keeps people stuck. You finally start protecting your peace and suddenly you feel selfish. You feel mean, you question yourself, you wonder whether you're overreacting, but guilt does not automatically mean you're doing something wrong. Sometimes guilt simply means you're doing something different, especially if you spent years prioritizing everyone else's needs over your own. Growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels empowering. You are allowed to disappoint people if the alternative is continuously abandoning yourself. You are allowed to choose your well-being. You are allowed to choose peace. And you do not need permission to protect your mental health. It's important to remember that this episode isn't anti-family. Healthy family relationships absolutely exist. Healthy family relationships respect boundaries. They allow difference of opinions. They encourage growth. They apologize when they make mistakes. They celebrate your success. They support your independence. But most importantly, they don't require you to sacrifice your well-being to maintain that relationship. Healthy family members don't demand access. They earn trust. And healthy relationships can survive boundaries because they are built on respect rather than control. The goal isn't distance. The goal is healthy connection. As we finish today's episode, I want to leave you with this. Family doesn't mean full access. Family doesn't mean unlimited chances without accountability. Family doesn't mean accepting behaviour that harms your well-being. And family certainly doesn't mean sacrificing your peace to keep everyone else comfortable. You can love someone and still need boundaries. You can care about someone and still protect yourself. You can be compassionate without becoming responsible for everyone else's emotions, because your well-being matters too. Your peace matters. Your voice matters. And the healthiest relationships will never require you to abandon yourself to keep them. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of the Grow with Keeley podcast. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who may need the reminder that boundaries are not selfish, they are necessary. Until next time, keep growing, keep healing, and remember, you deserve relationships that honour who you are, not just what you can give. Take care, everyone.